I said 5-11. He said
Yeah.
4-12. All right.
I would have said 7 and 9, but
Good for you.
And welcome back to the mid-season review of Buffalo Bills pregame. Exciting season so far, halfway done, and the biggest news, of course, is the change at quarterback. Happened 4 games in. EJ started the season, mixed results. They put Orton in, and you can't say that he's done a bad job since.
honestly, I'm going to say he's done an okay job, and the reality is he does hold the ball too long in the pocket at times and takes a few bad sacks, but yeah, overall he's been an upgrade is probably the kindest way to put it. Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're looking at quarterbacks at different ends of their career. EJ still in the learning process. Hopefully, his best game still to come. Orton, 9 seasons in, you got to say that at the very least, he's at the tail end of his career. Short term, for the rest of the season, as long as he's healthy, Orton is the starter.
I would have to assume so there. And moving on in the future, Orton does have an opt-out after the season. I don't think he's going to take that with him starting at this point. What I always have said with Bills and their quarterbacks, they never let their young quarterbacks steal it from a seasoned vet. And the reality is that's probably what they should have done with Lossman. That's probably what they should have done with Collins before him.
So should they have an open competition at the beginning of next season?
Oh,
or
absolutely.
Orton starter going in?
Absolutely.
Or do we just sit around and wait for Orton to get hurt and hope EJ plays well?
No. You want the young guy to take the reins. And the fact of the matter is we don't have a first-round pick to be thrown at a quarterback. So.
Absolutely, and we don't have that first-round pick because of Sammy Watkins, who has played exceptionally, on pace for over 1,000 yards receiving, something that a Bills player hasn't done in a while. It would seem that we finally, after the first time since maybe Eric Moulds, have a legitimate number 1 receiver. Sorry, Lee Evans.
Yeah, I go Stevie would be another one to be in that
I
discussion.
never felt he was a number 1 talent, though. I mean, he was a good slot receiver, perhaps, but once he had all the attention of the defense, I don't think he performed to a number 1 level. But aside, Sammy Watkins, do you feel right now, at this point in the season, was the trade worth it, giving up 2 first-round picks?
It's looking like it may be. The problem, you can't just judge on that one player. You got to judge on how the rest of the team is improving as well. And the fact of the matter is there are still holes on the team. I would be more fine with that trade if the Bills were trading up and they were close to being Super Bowl contenders. They're not at this point. So if Sammy becomes the next Randy Moss or Jerry Rice or a legendary receiver, yeah, I'd say it's worth it. He looks like he's projecting towards that, but we'll know more as time progresses.
The timing does seem suspect with the status of the Bills at the time of the trade. And we've lost another strong weapon on offense for most of the year, if not the full year, with C.J. Spiller. Have we seen the last of C.J.? Was that long run and a subsequent injury going to be the last thing that we see with him in a Bills uniform?
That run is a microcosm of his career where he's potential of breaking the long one and also getting hurt quite frequently as well. So unfortunately, I do think it's the end of the road for him because the Bills are still loaded at running back after this year. Freddie has another year under contract, and the Bills are high on both Bobbie, Dixon, and Bryce Brown as well. So,
continuing to see strong play from our defense. It would seem that we didn't lose a whole lot losing defensive coordinators, that Schwartz is not a step down at all from Pettine, maybe even a step up. Without the performance of Kiko Alonso on the defense, we're still doing well. Is that something we continue to do, or are you going to drop off with our defensive performance?
well, I think Lonestar is really embracing the Schwartz right now. Frankly, I think that Jim Schwartz has done a magnificent job, and it really has shown, well, the Bills are one of the best at generating pressure with the front 7. And really, the only hole I see is possibly at Mike Backer, where Brandon Spikes really hasn't been as good as one would hope. But with Kiko coming back next year, you can only hope that he comes back to pre-injury form. And I think the bigger question will be, will we have Jerry Hughes next year?
So we finish up the first half of the season at 5-3. We had some close wins. We had some close losses, come from behind. wins on the failure of other teams' kickers. Do you feel that we are a 5-3 caliber team, or are we overplaying our talent or underplaying our talent?
I'm going to paraphrase Denny Green here. The Bills are who we thought they are. You are what your record says. There are games that the Bills should have won that they lost. There are games that other teams should have stolen from the Bills. And the thing I love about Buffalo media and Buffalo fans, we should have won by more. Be happy with a freaking win. I love when you flip on the radio, WGR, WBN, or whatever else, and they're whining about winning by a point. A win's a win by 1 point or by 30. Take it. So yeah, they are a 5-3 team for better or for worse.
We're sensitive though. We've been hurt before.
Come on, we have to have thick skin. We deal with freaking negative 20-degree temperatures in December.
So 8 games down, 8 games to go. Looking forward into the season, what do you think? Are we going to pull out another 5 wins? Or we have a hard stretch coming up at the end of the season?
Optimistically, I would say the Bills could get about 4 wins out of 8.
4 wins out of 8?
4 wins out of 8, meaning 9-7, and that probably won't be enough for a wild card this year.
All right, so the first half of the second half of the season is Chiefs, Dolphins, Jets, Browns.
We need 3 out of the 4.
We need 3 out of the 4. There's, talk that they're beatable teams, all 4 of them.
Of course.
If we are going to slip up, where do you see the Bills having problems catching an issue out of those 4 teams?
Honestly, a Thursday night game down in South Florida, I could see that being an Achilles heel. But then again, Miami fans are usually gone by about halftime, and the other half of the fans,
if they showed up for the first quarter anyway.
Yeah, the other half of the fans down there might be Bills fans as well, but that's besides the point.
Second half, Broncos, Packers, Raiders, Pats. Obviously, the Raiders, the glowing. You could win this game, but they could be potentially 0-14 going into that. A bit of a trap for the Raiders. Do you see us picking up 2 wins, 1 win?
I see them picking up 1 at that point. Just I see them beating the Raiders regardless of what the record is at that point. Teeing off on either Derek Carr, or McGloin, or Schaub, or whatever street free agent quarterback they are rolling out at that point.
So these predictions, 9-7,
Yeah.
10-6, put us in the playoffs.
Possibly.
Playoff race at the very least.
I mean, remember Arizona missed out with 10-6 last year, so.
In the past couple of years, though, we have been 5-3 in the past, in 2008 and 2011, and ended up falling well short of the playoffs. Should we be hesitant in our excitement, or is this a different Bills that we're looking at?
As Buffalo fans, we got to be really cautious, and that's the biggest thing. We've learned through 4 straight Super Bowls. No goal 2, the home job throw up there. What else? 15 years now of Spygate and everything else that the Patriots have done to us. So yeah, I'd have to say we got to be cautious. I mean, very, very realistically, if the Bills were to collapse, which let's face it, since Wade Phillips, we haven't had a coach that's really coached a complete season too often. So it's possible. We're aware of that, but hope for the best, be prepared for the worst.
I predicted an abysmal season for the Bills. 4-12 was my prediction. We've already outpaced that. Doug Marrone at the beginning of the season said that he'd be anointed a saint if he were to win.
Oh, St. Doug.
Yeah, how far away are we from St. Doug jerseys? St. Doug shirts.
Oh, I'll tell you what. The only way you could really get that is if we have a Lombardi or 3 sitting at one Bills drive. Just because you turn around the team, big whoop. There's been a number of coaches that have done that over the years. What really counts is hardware. I want some jewelry on the rings of the players before I anoint him a saint.
Now this is wild speculation, but it's clear that the Bills aren't going to win the division this year. The Patriots have just ripped them apart, and other opponents.
Kimo Van Olhoffen, where are you now?
Playoffs are a goal for the team, obviously, but when are we going to get that home football, that home postseason game? Do you think we'll be division winners in the next 3 years?
I'd say that our chances will open up once we have 2 things in play. 1, Brady retired, and 2, stability at the quarterback position.
It'd be nice to beat him when you're still on the team, though.
Yeah, we've done it once or twice here and there. But yeah.
It would be nice to win the division with Brady as their starting quarterback.
Well, the Jets and Dolphins have at one point or another over that span. But that all said, we do have to thank the wise guys.
Thanks for the hat. A little late, but thanks for the hat.
Yes.
And as for the Bills, remember, optimism is not an option until we see results. Let's go playoffs. Go Bills.